another episode of Lake City's podcast with Chris and Lucas. Hey, we appreciate you guys listening. We know that several of y'all are gearing up for the holiday season or Christmas time.
Christmas.
But not Xmas, apparently.
Not at all.
You know what? I read an interesting story about that recently.
Okay.
Did you know that the X actually stands for Christ and that started back in the Roman times?
Well, I didn't know the story, but I was assuming that X could be interpreted as a chi.
Oh, what's a chi? That sounds like a seminary word.
Yeah, like a Greek letter, chi or ki, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And so I was like, wow, maybe it's that. So that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the Christian divisions of the Roman military started using that symbol.
Okay.
Instead of following a pagan god, they would put that as they're following Christ.
Okay.
And that's where it started.
Well, you're not going to get us good...
No, we're not putting that out on the sign anywhere, Nah. But it's an interesting story, and if it's true, great. And if it's not, then you didn't hear it here.
You surely did.
So, hey, man, what interesting Christmas traditions does your family have other than walking around the country trying to raise awareness?
Listen, that's the one-hit wonder, man. I'm telling you, every time I think about that, my bunions start hurting. Man, you know what? My family, we've had a couple different traditions. The ones I grew up in, and then the one that I have now. I grew up where our family would get together every Christmas Eve and just have a big Christmas Eve party, singing, food. Almost kind of like people would pray in the new year.
Yeah.
We would kind of sing and celebrate in Christmas.
That's awesome.
So to the turn of, right after the midnight hour, we kind of sing the Temptations, Silent Night. Mm-hmm. Everybody would hug, pray, and cry, and then go home.
That's awesome.
That's
man.
it. Yeah. And so now what we do is, the family comes together. We read Luke 2 and pray and, have a breakfast. And then, everybody opens gifts. Everybody gets a gift card. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, because you can't buy stuff for everybody anymore.
No.
Because it's not the right one.
That's it. What about you?
Man, so we've got this one Christmas tradition that's really weird. And I don't know what the origins of it are.
Okay.
I've never figured it out. But on Christmas Eve, our entire family, so it's like my grandparents when they were alive, all 5 of their kids, all like 32 of their grandkids and the 12 great-grandkids or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody tries to call everybody else on Christmas Eve. And if you pick up the phone on Christmas Eve, the goal is to just say Christmas Eve gift. And that's it. You say Christmas Eve gift, and then you're like, oh, you got me. And then you hang up. I have no idea where it started. It's one of the most ridiculous things, but nobody in our family from like 5:30 in the morning until about 8 will answer their phone because we all want to be there first. Like we're stopping, like you don't answer your phone. You're trying to make house calls at other people's houses and knock on the door. We surprised my brother a couple of years ago and I knocked on his door, and his wife just had a sign that said Christmas Eve gift that she had held up. I've no idea how that started or why it started, but now it's like a little family challenge. Well, last year, we had so much going on, and Kirsten and I were dating, and we were engaged. Mm-hmm. I say we were dating, we were engaged. She was my fiance at the time.
Yes.
And so we're trying to figure out what our Christmas stuff is going to look like, and I forgot about the game.
Oh, no.
And so early in the morning, my sister-in-law is calling me, and I'm looking at him, I was like, why the heck? We're going to see him, later tonight or whatever. When we went and saw, we helped them put together a bunch of their stuff. She was real salty with me, like all night. They've got 2 kids, and Kirsten and I went over there, and we're helping them put together some of the Christmas presents. I could not figure out what was going on, so I asked my brother. I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on with Danny? She's been a little rough. She's normally really sweet. What's happening?" He's like, "Bro, you didn't answer her Christmas Eve gift phone calls." It's like she called me at 6 a.m. I was out and I was doing other things, man. I'm trying to sort stuff out with the new family. He's like, "Yeah, don't forget about your old family because she's gonna hold that grudge for a while." So I went into the other room and I was like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And she looks at me and she goes, Christmas Eve gift, sucker. I was like, oh, no. Man, she waited 12 hours to get back at it. She's vicious.
Oh, that's
but
good
yeah,
stuff.
so that's one
Family.
one of the weird ones that we've got. We also do a thing on the night of Christmas Eve that everybody, well, I guess when it was the single house, so this is my parents, and then I'm the oldest of four.
Okay.
And I was the last one to get married in our family. Kirsten is the first one to get married in her family. So like in our family, we're having to adjust to what everybody else does, and in her family, we're getting to like set the tone.
Yeah, set the tone.
Right?
That's it. Follow us.
But we used to open one gift the night before. So on Christmas Eve, we got to open one gift. And that was always awesome, especially because I found an old video of me opening up a pair of cotton socks.
Oh, yes.
And little, like, toe-headed 8-year-old Lucas was so excited. I was like, cotton socks! Yay! This is amazing!
Yeah, that's it. Walnuts and oranges.
Yeah, what the heck is wrong with that kid?
Oh, that's good.
I just wanted to be excited for opening that Christmas present.
Yeah, man, you obviously weren't the type to go around and check the boxes because you're supposed to know those with socks, bro.
Bro, I can open them up and close them now. I've learned from my cotton socks days. So I think I was just excited too that I could read the words cotton socks. It just made me happy. Yeah. Hanes was a little difficult to pronounce, but cotton socks, I figured that out. So what's your favorite Christmas carol?
Oh, come all ye faithful.
Really?
Yes.
All right, so why? Why "Oh Come All Ye Faithful"?
Man, I don't know. Maybe because that's the one that sounds the best in the shower. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, right? All the other stuff that sound good, you know, coming out the shower walls.
All that reverb, bro. Come on, you faithful. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
It's cheerful. It moves.
Yeah.
The words are appropriate. You know, he's the Lord. You know, it just kind of, I just kind of get into it.
Right.
But I think it's because it's cheerful. It's meaningful, and when I try, all jokes aside, when I try to sing it. Right, at least in the shower, it sounds really good.
It sounds pretty good. Yeah, I can hear that.
What about you? What's yours?
Dude, I've always loved "Oh Come, Emmanuel."
Oh,
dude, that one gets me, and that's one of those songs that I like. That one and "Go Tell It on the Mountain," which is like real fun and real upbeat. I don't know why we have made those like Christmas only songs.
I just had this conversation. I'm like, the best songs in the world we sing once a year.
Yeah, what the heck is wrong with us?
Yeah, man, something's real wrong.
Do you know Jingle Bells was a Thanksgiving song?
No.
I found that out a couple weeks ago.
Talk about misappropriation.
I'm telling you, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, "Oh Come, Emmanuel." Man,
that's beautiful.
And there was a guy that did it a few years ago. I found him on YouTube, and it got sent over to me. And it's just him and an acoustic guitar, and he's got this real deep, like baritone voice. And I can't listen to it without tearing up, man. It gets me. It's so good.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
What about I like "Oh Holy Night" too.
Oh yeah, Holy Night's a good one.
Oh man, that's nice.
What do you think about "We Three Kings"?
Well, let me tell you the story.
Come
about
on,
We
come
Three
on,
Kings,
baby.
Doc. Our church, okay, so you know I grew up Methodist,
Yeah.
right? And so we would have a Christmas play, and in North Carolina, churches have basements.
Right.
So our play would be in the basement of Kyle's Temple AME Zion Church. And me and my friend Greg, and there were two other guys that I can't remember their William and Rodney Richardson. They were brothers. We used to sing "We Three Kings."
Really?
Man, and myrrh is mine is bitter perfume, right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
Because we sang it like literally every Christmas.
Right.
You know, I like this song. What about you? You like it?
Dude, that song drives me nuts.
Does it?
Yes.
Let me get another
so
verse
I think,
in.
Yeah, so I think that there's two things. There's a difference between a Christmas song and a Christmas carol. And so like "We Three Kings" fits into that Christmas carol. It wasn't, I don't think, until like the 40s or 50s when people started making Christmas songs where they were like, no, we can make a lot of money if we put out a Christmas album. Doesn't have nothing to do with Jesus. So.
Yeah.
But that song always felt to me like it was written by three different people that wrote three different songs and then just all ended up in the same room.
Oh, man.
They're like, man, I really like your song and I really like your song, but they're incomplete. What do you think we should do? And some guy in the corner just went, how about we just go, oh, and then we'll just switch to his song, and then we can come back to it. Oh, the song the lyrics are great, but the song itself, it drives me nuts. It was one of my favorites though, like in grade school.
Yeah.
Because there was like Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Round Laid Eggs.
Oh.
And then, the We Three Kings, what is it? We Three Kings of Orientar tried to smoke a royal cigar.
Oh, my gosh.
It was loaded and exploded. Like those, that's why I like We Three Kings.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't even know that one's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I must be too old. I mean, I went to school when we were still doing Christmas, the teachers would pass out, little coloring sheets, for Christmas, and we would still sing "Joy to the World" in school.
Oh, come on, baby!
Yeah, man, that was the good old days.
So, what do you think about? And then I want to get to your least favorite Christmas song, right?
Okay.
So, what do you think about some of these guys that are like redoing the Christmas carols now, where they're like adding in extra choruses and verses?
So, if they can take me to church,
Chris
I'm
just
fine.
adjusted in his seat.
Yeah, I know,
can't see
man.
what's going on right now.
That's there's some that clearly just mess up the song.
Yeah,
because what I don't like is when they kind of try to meld two of them together. They sing the first. It's a 4-minute track. The first 2 minutes is one song, and then they modulate into this other song. That works my nerves.
Oh man,
I'm like, dude, sing the song, because I'm going with you and I'm ready for the next, and then it's something else.
Yeah.
It's Rudolph at the end of this. Doc, I'm like, seriously? Like, you could come up with anything. Like, you messing Rudolph up, right? He's ready to buck somebody. Like, yo, I'm jabbing somebody, Now that works my nerves.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are some who put a nice little spin on it in terms of the arrangement.
right?
Which I think is okay.
Yeah.
But some men just really miss it.
Mm-hmm.
You?
Yeah, there's some of those that like there's a remake of Joy to the World a few years ago, and I'm like you, I'm getting ready for the triumph, and I'm ready to belt something out, and then it's like joy, 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 joy. I don't know what this song is anymore. And why does it have to be on the radio 10 times a day? They just ruined one of the greatest songs ever written, It drives me nuts.
So, I was thinking about,
come on,
like, what's my, what's the worst? I don't really have, like,
I do.
The one. Well, let me not stand in the way of that, brother.
No, you finish. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't understand how you cannot have a worse Christmas song.
I don't. The ones that irk my nerves, and it's not because I don't like this type of music. It just, I'll give you one.
Okay.
I don't know the song, but whatever is on the Beach Boys Christmas album, Doc, you can keep it. You know what I'm saying? You can keep it. It's not because I don't like West Coast music. It's not no other issue. But, man, that whole Beach Boys sound on a Christmas track, I can't.
You're done. You can't do it.
Yeah, man. I don't. It's there's some. I mean, like, I like rock, but there's some Christmas carols and songs that are to rock music that I just don't. I can't get with it. It's not because I don't like rock music. I just can't. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm the worst at Christmas time. And I feel so bad for my wife because she's getting to experience this for like the first time when she's decorating the house and doing all this stuff. And our house looks, I use this word sparingly, our house looks really cute.
Oh, okay.
She's got it all done up and it's great. And she wants to listen to Christmas music, but I can't do it.
Uh-oh.
Because I can't take Mariah Carey's like entire Christmas album. All I Want for Christmas Is You makes me want to puke.
Oh, yes.
And then that stupid Paul McCartney song, the Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, that makes me want to throw things. But the one that gets me is the most guilt-laden song that has ever been written.
What?
And what drives me crazy is that like it's got 40 different vocalists on it, and that's the Do They Know It's Christmas in Africa song.
Oh, no.
Do they even know it's Christmas? First off, yes, they do, because Christmas happens the same day every year, no matter where you're at.
No matter where you are.
No. And they're like, well, there's no snow in Africa. There's no snow in South America near the equator
Come
either.
on.
Like, where's the Christmas song for does Brazil know it's
Right,
Christmas time?
right.
But
Nuh-uh.
that song drives me crazy, and it gets so sad. And they're talking about the only thing that they have for Christmas is life. And I'm like, what? What are you trying to? Just show me where the donate button is and turn the song off.
That's it.
Ugh,
Wow.
I can't take it. But as soon as that comes off, I either have to turn off the radio or I'm gonna drive off the road.
Oh,
That'll be the end of it for me.
Yeah, I don't need to hear that either.
No, that sounds crazy.
So let me. So you hit on a point about there not being any snow in South America, right? So, a part of my family grew up in South Florida.
Okay.
So my mom's brother and his family and my mom's sister actually lived in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And so my baby cousin, so this one Christmas, he never seen snow, ever. Like ever, never was in it, never was around it.
He thinks Christmas is supposed to be 72 degrees.
80. He thinks it's supposed to be
motorcycle
80.
weather.
That's it, man.
Jesus' birthday.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, it's like it makes our family tradition. So this year they came up and it snowed. And he's outside in shorts, a T-shirt, because he's from South Florida. He's got flip-flops.
Yeah, he didn't pack any regular clothes.
No, man, he's outside. I'm like, you gonna die. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be your first Christmas with snow, and you're gonna get hypothermia. I'm like, dude, come in the house. But to see people who've never seen snow, never been in snow during the Christmas season, that was special.
There was Charles Spurgeon tells this story about some missionaries from Africa that were telling them about snow, and we're talking to him about, when during Christmas time in England, they're like, the water you can walk on, and they're like, it's impossible for a man to walk on water. They're like, no, trust us. Like, it turns to ice that's several sheets deep. And so they brought up one of the people that were in this particular people group that they were ministering to, and he was coming and he was going to come speak at the church, and they showed him people ice skating, and they said that he started shaking.
Wow.
And was talking to him and was like, we need to go save those people. Like, no, this is what it's like. And then after he had been there a week and was getting ready to go home, he spent 10 days there in total, but like after day 7, they finally convinced him to walk out onto the ice, and they said he just started crying.
Oh my goodness.
He just thought it was the most incredible thing that he'd ever seen before. And so he says he goes back to the church, and 3 months later they get a message, and they get a letter from him, and he's like, nobody in Africa believes me that this is possible. I need you to send me a photograph or something because they're kicking me out of the church. I'm a heretic. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh man. Hey, so let me ask you this: the foods.
Oh yeah,
Christmas foods. Do you guys have not necessarily a dish, but certain kinds of things that you guys do during Christmas?
Brisket. Brisket is but that tends to be a staple for our family. But there's always a Christmas brisket.
Okay,
and maybe that is just because we're also like ingrained in Texas traditions.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. And then my grandmother used to make this stuff called heavenly hash.
Oh man,
which was like it was the weirdest, like Jell-O and whipped cream and all kinds of just like weird stuff that nobody should ever put in anything, right? That like each one of these ingredients standalone, you're like, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't want one of those. But she would put it together, man. We used to wipe that thing out. She made that every Christmas. It was great.
Man. We, I guess here lately, we started doing rib roast.
Ooh, yeah.
When you get it on sale. let me qualify that. After
That's
you
good.
call the butcher, say, hey man, when is this going on sale?
Mm-hmm.
We do rib roast. But I think for us, Charmaine started really baking.
Ooh.
Around Christmas, and hardly ever during the year. Mm-hmm. But as our kids got older, she started baking, and I was like, man, I need to do something. I like meat, so how about we let's work a steak in for Christmas.
This is the season of giving.
That's
after
it.
all. Yeah.
That's it. So that, and I guess little cookies and little, I eat a bunch of stuff I shouldn't ever eat.
Which is good that she's only baking like one time a year, right?
My goodness, man. And but it's something about Christmas. I've always, just kind of fallen in love, with the Christmas and the lights and whatnot, man.
I'm trying to convince my wife that we don't need to do lights.
Boo.
Other people, people do. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm such a Grinch. But we went to Interlaken over in Arlington, to go look at lights, and they've got some really awesome stuff that was there. They've got one house that I geek out on because it's all Star Wars themed. And I own all the Star Wars books and all the Star Wars movies. And we found this little place last year in Louisville, and it's this guy's place. He's right off of Valley, like across from First Baptist Church, Louisville, where Dr. Hatfield's over there at First Baptist Louisville. So it's like right across the street from there. And the guy's got like this 30-minute program that like you can just park out in front of his house, turn it to the radio station, and dude, his house is awesome. Like little trees are singing, there's stuff popping up in the windows, there's stuff from Hamilton, there's stuff from
my goodness.
Like regular Christmas carols, like there's a bunch of stuff from like the Grinch and some of that other just Dr. Seuss stuff. There's stuff from Peanuts. It's amazing. And this joker lives next door to him, has not one light on his house, like has nothing. He has an arrow that is pointing to the house that's singing, and inside the arrow in lights it says ditto. Dude's like, I told Kirsten, I was like, if we move into a place, like I will be the ditto guy for sure.
Man.
But that guy's house is awesome. If you haven't seen it, like I said, it's like in that neighborhood that's right across the street from First Baptist Louisville. It's amazing.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So literally across the street, my neighbor has close to 100,000 lights up.
What?
Listen, the last time he counted, he said, I think I've got 92,000. We counted there 92,000 lights.
Bro.
And I'm just too close to 100,000. So we're going somewhere, and I'm going to just wipe them out. Bro, so now watch this. I mean, he's got lights on the side of the house, front, all in the yard. The trees are all, it's beautiful. But we didn't have a candlestick. Do you understand? So we looked like heathen when it came to Christmas. We were like the dark hole, like, don't go over there. You won't make it back, And his whole is, and so we finally got in the game. And I'm like, we got to put something up, a wreath or something.
Yeah.
So folks will know that we believe in Christmas. But man, it's all that light, so almost 100,000 lights. It was good, man. Got to check it out.
Crazy.
I'll send you a picture of it.
100,000 lights.
Yeah, man.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
That's it.
We where do you guys look at Christmas lights? I said we go to Interlaken.
Yeah, that's where we went. But we really kind of take in just kind of the local thing. Just kind of
drive around in the neighborhoods and check it out.
This year, I was telling Charmaine, it seems like more people are putting up lights this year.
Yeah, you know why? It's the same reason everybody's honeydew list on those home improvement projects are happening.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got locked down and they're in the house and their wife is saying, hey, babe, it's time to go fix the steps.
This is the year.
Yep, this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of, we like to ride around and we see stuff nice. And usually it's kind of funny. We'll see 2 or 3 houses that look, well decorated, and we'll just go ride through. We figure if we got 3, there's got to be some more in here.
That's because all the peer pressure. That's it. Somebody's house is all lit up, and then somebody's little kid's like, "Daddy, how come our house isn't pretty for Christmas?" You're like, "Oh my gosh,
well, baby, I got you a ditto arrow." We have a ditto
arrow. Dude, we went a couple of years ago. The creepiest house that I've ever seen decorated for Christmas. We went to Highland Park, right? So we went and drove through those neighborhoods. They open it up to the plebs once a year so that we can go in and look at all the houses for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we're driving through, and we see some of these houses are just done immaculately. Like, it's ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that you're looking at like a 15,000 square foot house.
Right.
That the house, the yard, like every inch of some of these trees is covered in Christmas lights. It's incredibly impressive. But we came up on this one house, and they had this huge yard, and they had these little like Jack-in-the-Box boxes
Oh no!
in front of the house. And I'm already like kind of off on anything that's got to do with dolls.
Come on, man!
Right? And so we start driving by, and up pops this Jack-in-the-Box, and there's 6 of them in the yard, and they're varying heights. Well, the first one, out pops this dude, and it is a man's face.
Oh,
it's not
no.
like a creepy Jack-in-the-Box face, right? That's on a regular Jack-in-the-Box, like from the little claymation stories that we all saw.
What?
This isn't one of Rudolph's misfit friends. This is some man had them sculpt his head on this Jack-in-the-Box. And as we're going by, it was him, and then the mom, and then all of the kids. And the last one, which is the one that made me the most unsettled, it was a baby. They had a baby's head sculpted on this Jack-in-the-Box, and it's just popping up, just staring at all the cars that come by,
no.
and then just goes down again. I was like, we're done. And that was the last time I drove through Highland Park to look at Christmas lights, or any other reason, because I ain't got no business there.
So listen, man. So Charmaine and I were like, so what color you want to use?
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, what are they thinking about? Like, what are we going to put in the yard? And somebody said, what about our heads popping out of a box? Like, dude, like, out of all of the ideas, you came up with that one?
Yeah, none of the neighbors
crazy.
have their heads popping out of a box.
I don't want to see nothing popping out of a box. Do you?
Like ready to take off,
I was
man.
about to say, make sure all the kids out of the street.
Yeah, it was creepy. And there was another house that we looked, and this might have been over in Interlaken, where they like hung like Santa and his reindeer and Frosty and them, but they hung them from trees.
Yeah.
And so they're hung from the trees from fishing line, but it's obvious that these little dolls are hanging from the trees by their necks. And Kirsten, we drove by that, and Kirsten goes, honey, we need to tell them to not do this. It's like, what? And there it is. There's a whole Christmas village, and they're all doing stuff and interacting with one another, but you can tell they're hanging.
Oh,
like,
man.
That's not good.
Yeah, we got to think these decorations all the way
Right.
through.
The Jack-in-the-Box people.
Come on,
you don't
man.
need Jack-in-the-Box people. You don't need people hanging from trees. And have you seen the Christmas dragons?
No.
There are, and I don't know if they
Because, of
marketed
course, they
them.
had those in Jerusalem.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. That's it. Mary, Joseph, carrying baby Jesus, swoop down on a dragon.
And Puff.
Yeah.
The Marys.
Peter, Paul, and Mary. You got them all covered right there, right? Yeah. Puff and Pete's dragon. They were all hanging out together in Jerusalem. Yeah, in Bethlehem. That's how they kept warm.
Oh, man.
But so we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get canceled. So all of this weird stuff has now entered into Christmas, and the Christmas dragon was a big one. I hadn't heard about it till my little 3-year-old nephew was like, Uncle Pookie, we got to go see the Christmas dragon.
Wait a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes. What can I help you with, Pastor Respis?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You said Uncle
Pookie.
Pookie.
Yeah, man. I've been
All right.
Pookie since I was a little kid.
All right, Pookie.
So that did give me some credibility when I was walking in to do like when I would play on like hip hop albums or R&B albums. People were like, "Oh, Pookie's gonna come play bass for us," and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
All right,
the
all
white
right.
guy showed up. That's not what they were expecting.
Like,
They're
that's not Pookie.
That is not a Pookie. Mm-mm. But yeah, he was like, "We got to go see the Christmas dragon." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And sure enough, this little dude knew the exact from his house. He could direct me at 3. He could direct me to the Christmas dragon.
Wow.
That was his only thing that he wanted to see.
Come on.
Then we went. But it apparently is like this huge thing now that people are putting Christmas dragons in their yard.
I missed it.
I didn't get the memo on that
Me either, brother.
Man.
Me either.
So you talked about Luke 2.
Yeah.
The story of Christmas. That is my favorite part in the Charlie Brown Christmas special is when Linus starts reading from there.
Man.
Then we used to on our Christmas Eve service, I would always just play that video
Yeah.
of Linus up there, and he's like, and then the angel of the Lord, and they were sore afraid.
Sore afraid. Man, I purchased that DVD.
Yeah.
Just to watch that, man, and every time that and the little neck roll dancing. And every time he gives that, man, I'm challenged.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't pound on anything.
Right.
He doesn't flash a bunch of lights. He doesn't do anything out of extraordinary.
Yeah.
Doesn't anything out of character. He just stands up and preaches it. I'll tell him. I'm like, preach. Doc.
Yeah, come on, baby.
He just stands up and says it, man, and that was encouraging. It was challenging to me, and encouraging. That, man, it's the message.
Yeah, I think one of the things for us, for pastors, I think for church leaders, but also for parents, oftentimes is that we feel like we have to explain everything.
Yeah.
Well, this is why this happened, and this is why this happened, and on and on. And one of the things that's so powerful to me, and we're talking about a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that's so powerful is that Linus just goes and says it, and then he just lets the scripture stand on its feet.
That's it.
It doesn't need any extra explanation. It doesn't need anything. Like, these are the facts. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And the birth of Jesus is an amazing and incredible thing and a reason for celebration. But his life and sacrifice is what gives us hope, even in the midst of a pandemic, and even more so in his resurrection, that we have the opportunity, to look beyond this life and into what God originally had intended for us, which is just that consistent community with him.
Absolutely, man.
So what are you guys doing for Christmas Eve? Have y'all made plans about that yet? Because I know that's a tricky thing for a lot of us who are making those plans.
Yeah, so family-wise, church-wise, family-wise?
Yeah, all the above.
So church-wise, when we planted, most of our congregation was fairly young. Mm-hmm. So we've always just put a premium on spending time with family. Yeah. So we've never done the Thanksgiving service, or the Christmas Eve or Christmas service, because a lot of our folks, our church was so young that people would travel to their real families, right? They would go to be with their parents, and so we've always just protected that time and encouraged people to be with families. For us, we're just going to hopefully get all the kids to the house and maybe just kind of hunker in, man, and hang out, watch some movies, watch all 24, showings of The Christmas Story. Yeah. That and Lord of the Rings.
There you go. I don't know how that got grandfathered into being a Christmas movie, but I love it.
Come on, man.
I love it. I just got Kay to watch those. She had never seen any Star Wars movies. She hadn't seen any of the Lord of the Rings.
What?
And she was, but my fault was I had the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Yeah, because I dabble a little bit in a nerd. And so I had to find on which one of my DVDs actually had the theatrical version, because we got about 30 minutes into one, and the elves are like giving people gifts, and she's like, "This is boring." Like, trust me, babe, this is the 4-hour-long version. It'll get good in about 2 movies.
That's it.
So
that's it.
But that and Die Hard, which is the greatest Christmas movie that's ever been made.
Oh yeah.
So, but only the version that they have on TNT, because we don't watch the radar movie with preachers.
That's it. That's right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, John McClane. Yippee-ki-yay, folks. So, man, we've had some challenges trying to figure out what we're going to do for Christmas Eve, because we normally do that Christmas pageant, and we have our kids' Christmas pageant, and we've got the most adorable. I mean, of course, everybody thinks that their kid's the most adorable, right? So we had this one little girl. For the last 3 years, she has gotten wrong one of the lines that Mary says, and instead of saying, the angel comes to Mary and says, you're gonna have a baby, and she says, "How can this be? Because I'm a virgin."
Yeah.
And this poor little girl, every year for the last 3 years, has looked up and been like, "How can this be? Because I'm a vegan."
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I don't think vegetables got anything to do with that. Yeah. So,
oh man.
So we were.
That's cute.
Yeah, she's great, and now that she can read better, we're in trouble.
No, yeah.
But we're trying to figure out a way to do a Zoom choir.
Okay.
To try to have that done. And then, I don't know if you've seen those Quibi videos.
Mm-mm.
So, so Quibi is like a sort of online video streaming thing that came about. And they basically do like a 45-minute show in like 15 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's just the highlights, none of the other stuff.
Okay.
And they did a remake of The Princess Bride, which I think is like maybe the most perfect movie ever made. It's got everything you want in a movie. And they gave a bunch of famous people, a bunch of like A-list celebrities, they gave them each like 1 or 2 scenes that they were responsible for. But they're playing like different parts. So like at one part, Common and his wife are Wesley and Buttercup and like running through the forest. And then Jack Black takes over as the Dread Pirate Roberts. and then they've got Dave Bautista playing Andre the Giant's role in one part, and then David Spade, who is like filming stuff on his camera phone, is playing the Dread Pirate Roberts, and so there's all this really cool back and forth stuff. So I think what we ended up doing is we had people send us videos, like, because there's no way for us to safely get everybody in the same room to even rehearse the Christmas pageant. So we gave everybody a bunch of scenes, said, film some of these in your house with your kids, give us permission to use them, and then we'll take them and we're going to try to cut those all together. So I think that'll be cute
that sounds
if it works
exciting.
out. And if it isn't, we'll always wish it would have been. You know what I mean?
No, hey, listen, that people will be excited to see that.
Yeah, I think so. And their kids are going to have fun with it. We got a couple of the videos, and one of the kids, spoiler alert, Mary and Joseph come in on a golf cart. And they like rolled up, they had it at their grandparents' house, and they were like, we don't want to walk all the way. We don't want to ride the stick horse. Can we use the cart? Like, yeah, sure. So they just roll up and they're like, hey, that place looks like a hotel. Let's go hang out. So awful. That's great. Good. I'm excited about it, man.
That's good.
So
that's good.
What are you most looking forward to before the end of the year? Because this will be our last episode before we hit New Year's. So what are you most looking forward to before the end of the year?
Honestly,
please be honest.
You know, no, lie to me. Lie to me. I love it when you lie to me. Probably just resting.
Yeah.
And spending time with family, and not without the pressure of feeling like I have something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to just calm down and be able to take in, because I felt like this year, you know, a lot of people felt like, you know, oh, we've had this extended break. Well, I felt like I worked all year long.
Yeah.
You know, the pandemic did not bring a vacation.
No.
For most pastors, you know, we worked. It was either pivoting, you know, coming up with creative stuff, and things constantly change, and constantly trying to navigate, you know, how do we lead our people safely and be faithful to the call and declare the message. And there was a lot of stress, man. I wouldn't admit it before now, man, but it was a lot of stress. And so I'm waiting to exhale.
Yeah.
you know, I'm just really waiting to just exhale. What about you?
Man, I think the getting to spend time with the family is the biggest one for me, because we've got everything spaced out where Kirsten's family gets a day and then my family get a day.
Okay.
When you know, you've got something like Thanksgiving, we ran from house to house to house to house to house, and it felt like we saw everybody, but we didn't get quality time with anybody. Right? And I don't know if you're one of those love language guys, but my two are physical touch and quality time.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm not with you, I have a hard time like connecting with you. But if we're together, it's great for me, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a little difficult, you know, going through Thanksgiving this year, because there were so many distance restrictions and things like that, and things we were trying to be cognizant of, because we've got family members that are in those high risk categories. And so going into Christmas, we know we get a full day with her family. We get a full day with my family, and I'm looking forward to that bit of it.
That's cool.
But I'm with you, man. I have felt so much pressure and stress, and it's hard as a leader, as you know, when people look at at what we do is like the job of a pastor, right? I had one guy ask me a couple of years ago. He's like, "So you just like sit down on a beanbag and like eat Cheetos until Sunday comes around?" I was like, "Yes, that's it.
That's exactly what I do.
That's it. I spend the first 100 hours of my week eating Cheetos, trying to think of something clever to say for this 30-minute period that you give me to talk." But there's a lot that goes into it, because you're a spiritual leader, you're a business leader.
Yeah.
You know, you're running an organization, and we, as well as other people in our community, especially small business owners and things like that, we've had a ton of pressure that we never saw coming.
Absolutely.
You know, on top of everything else. And you're right, pivoting, figuring out how you move from being an in-person entity to now you got to move to this online platform, and you almost have to make this shift into going from a personal, like, face-to-face organization. Now you have to be a production company.
Absolutely.
And you had about 6 hours notice that was going to happen, right? So it's unique to 2020, but it's not unique to us. And knowing and being able to talk about, and thanks for opening the door for that, talk about those pressures is an important thing. And I really want to encourage anybody who is feeling pressure during the holiday season, because we know that there's an extra amount of stress, and statistics will show throughout the course of every year that there's an increased loneliness during the holidays, that people have a tendency to become more depressed because the weather's changing and all kinds of stuff, especially down here because in Texas, we don't have the snow. Right. So winter does not bring about like, hey, let's go sledding and put on all of our winter gear. Winter is, hey, don't go outside. It's cold.
That's right. That's right.
But there's not a whole lot extra to do. You're not going to the lake. So if you are feeling those stresses and those pressures, reach out to somebody.
Yes.
During this holiday season, because the truth is that as much of this year as we have spent in isolation, that we are not alone.
That's right.
And if you don't have anybody to reach out to, man, contact one of us. Shoot us an email at lakecitiespodcast@gmail.com or at lucas@fbclakedallas.com. Chris, what's your email? What's your email?
crespus@antiochcorinth.org.
There you go. Give us a shout. Get in contact with one of us or with any of the other local churches, because we know that everybody around here that is working towards God's glory would love to be able to touch base with you. And,
That's right.
And if you're listening and that is not where you're at, but you know somebody that may be, now is the best time to reach out. Go drop a meal off. Send somebody a Facebook message. Give them a phone call. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Send them a Christmas card, whatever that is, to let somebody know that they're loved and cared for. And because this has the potential to be a rough couple of weeks for several of the people in our community, and this is the best time and one of the greatest opportunities we have to show people that we love them and care for them.
Amen, brother.
All right, brother. Well, hey, man, it's been a heck of a year.
It has, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to what 2021 is going to look like.
You and me both.
Come on, man.
So let's fire up that Macy's Day or that New Year's Day parade.
Whatever they call it.
Get this over with. And hey, we'll see you guys next year. Thanks for listening to the Lake Cities Podcast.
Merry Christmas.
Chris and Lucas want to thank you for listening to the Lake Cities Podcast, a service provided by FBC Lake Dallas and Antioch Christian Fellowship. If you have a topic you would like for Chris and Lucas to discuss, email them at thelakecitiespodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you give us a review and click on the subscribe button to get the latest episodes each week.